everyone, this is Silent Starling. I'm here again with another Dauntless behemoth tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you all how to fight a Charrogg, which is my first elemental behemoth video. So, elemental behemoths will usually have a resistance and a weakness, and their resistance is generally coinciding with their personal element. So, for instance, the Charrogg is a blaze-type behemoth, which means he's going to be weak to frost weapons, but you're going to want to wear blaze armor in order to resist his fire damage. So, as you can see in the elemental guide, it says that you should use a frost weapon and you should use blaze armor. I'm going to be using Charrogg armor, because that is blaze armor, and I'm going to be using a Pangar axe, which is a frost weapon. Heavy weapons are not really my personal thing, but I think that they work pretty well on the Charrogg simply because he's a bit of a slower behemoth, so you actually have time to charge up your attacks. As you can see from the challenge level, he's about the same difficulty, if a little bit less than the quill shot I did in a video a little while ago. So let's try him out. I don't have a whole lot of experience fighting Charrogg, not necessarily because he's hard or I don't like him, I just wasn't very fond of his armor or his weapons, so I never saw much need to farm him, but he's not horribly difficult. If you're going to be using an axe, I would definitely recommend having the stamina potion that I have in my right slot. It's good for using all of your charge attacks. It's going to take up a lot of stamina, so it's good to have a backup for that. I don't really have a recommended weapon for Charrogg. Axe is fine because, you know, it hits hard and you have time to use its charged attacks. Sword is also a good one because he uses his tail a fair amount, and swords are the best for getting rid of tails. Alright, so here's our Charrogg. He kind of looks like a molten turtle, and he's going to be doing a lot of fire attacks, so let's just run around and watch those for a minute. Alright, so that's his first one. He usually starts with that, where he spits out this little ball. It's going to follow me. I can dodge through it, no issues, but it is going to follow me around. So as you can see, he's got a lot of fire going on. That magma on the ground, it's important not to step in it because it'll catch you on fire. If you do find yourself on fire, the best thing to do is to stop, drop, and roll. It will reduce the duration of the fire, and therefore it'll reduce the amount of damage that you take from the attack. So while this guy is slower, he hits pretty hard, so what I recommend is not charging up an attack like that until you've successfully dodged his previous attack, because that's where his delay is in between attacks. When he backs up like that, it usually means he's either going to spit a fireball or he's going to do that tail fling that he just did, where he flings fire everywhere and leaves lava traces. So with this guy, you're probably going to want to go for the tail simply because he uses it for a lot of attacks and it can get fairly annoying. If you run the fireball into the Charrogg, it's going to disappear. So if you can get the Charrogg between you and the fireball, that's a good way to get rid of it and not have to worry about it. One important thing that's not horribly visible on a Charrogg are his fire sacks. Those are right above his legs, and those are going to be important a little later. If you can break those, it'll save you a lot of headache. Drink a stamina potion. Alright, this is either a tail fling or he's shooting fire. It looks like a tail fling. So you're probably gonna want to dodge because those track, and it's hard to know sometimes whether or not they're trained on you or one of your teammates. Alright, so there's the fire sacks I was talking about earlier. When he does this attack, typically he's just going to shoot fire jets and he's going to spin slowly in a circle. So you can either back up from him, or you can stand here in between and do little short hits while you stay in between his fire. This is also a good time to use stationary lantern attacks, specifically the Pangar lantern and the Embermane lantern, the ones that require the behemoth to be stationary before they do a lot of damage. Now's a good time to use them because he's just going to sit here and spin in a circle. So as you can see, I'm on fire and I'm taking damage slowly, but if I roll, it makes it go away faster. That being said, be wary about running out of stamina. So if you can see those bubbles on his head, that means that he's feeling a little woozy, and a heavy hit to the head will probably knock him over. So we'll see if we can do that here in a second. when he's not standing in lava. Alright, there goes the fireball. Alright, I find that to be his hardest attack to dodge, is that full frontal charge. But it seems like he's only going to do it unless you're directly in front of him. So be wary of it if you're in front of him, but if you're not, he's probably not going to do it. He does have a kind of nasty arm swipe if you're to the side of him. But that sniff that he just did is his passive thing that behemoths sometimes have. Let's see if we can get rid of this. Gets a little annoying. Ah, there we go. That was the hit we wanted. Anytime you knock him over is also a good time to use your lantern charge, because chances are he's not going to move for a while. Alright, this is going to be another tail flang, but we need to watch out for that fireball too. Alright, well he's enraging. He likes to stomp around when he does that. He doesn't really tend to do anything different when he enrages. He's gonna have a little bit less delay in between his attacks, and he's gonna hit a little harder. There's that arm slam I was talking about. Alright, here comes his fire jets. I want to see if we can break one, because if you break one of his fire jets, then he can't use that particular jet. For instance, if we had broken this jet above his front arm here, he wouldn't be shooting fire out of that particular arm. He would still be shooting fire out of the other 3 locations, but not that one. When you fight the dire and heroic Charrogg, he's going to do a little bit more when he's in this form, but in his earliest form right here, he's just gonna spin in a circle when he does that. Alright, he's gonna, when he arches his back up like that, he's going to shoot that circle of fireballs around him. Usually you can just dodge through it, but if you back up, the fireballs will spread out. It makes it a little easier to dodge. Alright, here comes another fireball. It's worth noting that when there's more than one person, he's probably going to shoot more than one fireball. Alright, he's decided he's leaving. An important thing to remember with Axe is you want to find the behemoth as quickly as possible when he disappears, because that charge I've got going on will disappear if I don't attack soon. Well, there he is. So that was easy. Alright, he's doing his tail fling. Alright, I want to see if I can break one of his fire sacks, but in the meantime, I think I've described most of his attacks, so you can just go ahead and watch his moves and how and in what direction I dodge them, kind of get a gauge for how he works. So you can see over here, I broke one of his fire sacks. So he's not shooting fire out of that particular arm. He is out of the other 3, but that fire sack is gone. So if I stand right here, I can charge up a stronger attack because I don't have to worry about that particular fire vein hitting me because it's not there. That's how you fight a Charrogg.